everyone! Let's hook together today for this educational toy. There are 5 rings in total. Can you take a look at the bottom ring? We are fixed on this pillar. And what about the 5 rings above? We can put it on like this. Then you can pick it off. This little toy can help your baby develop intelligence, develop the ability to focus. A very nice little toy. Let's hook it together. First, we're going to hook the tower barrel. This part at the base of the column. So you start by running this little loop around your finger. Pinch the intersection with your right hand. Lay the yarn with your left hand. Pinch the intersection with your left hand. Wrap the yarn around and pull it over. Wrap the yarn with crochet. Pull this little loop. This is a chain stitch. Next, we hook the single crochet and thread it. The crochet presses the yarn and pulls it over. This is a single crochet. Mark the single crochet. The stitch is a V-shaped shape like this. Continue to hook single crochets. For the first round, we need to hook 6 single crochets. 3rd stitch, then the 4th stitch. 5th stitch. 6th stitch. The single crochets, we use the letter symbol X to represent them. After 6 single crochets. And we're going to pull this little yarn tail really tight. The first round is done. We use a hook method of a spiral hook. Now we go straight for the second round. For the second round, we need to hook 6 increases. Let's hook. Directly in the first single crochet, hook a single crochet. Cross 2 lines horizontally. The end of the yarn is hooked horizontally on it. Hook the first single crochet first. Mark it well. And then hook another single crochet. Okay, this is an increase. 1 increase is equal to 2 single crochets in each stitch. The second round of continuous hooks 6 increases. Hook the second stitch. Okay, what's next? We will hook all the remaining 4 increases. The increase, we use the letter symbol V to represent. In the second round, we hooked 6 V. After the second round, there are 12 single crochets. Okay, we'll hook it on the second round. Now we go on for the third round. 1 single crochet and 1 increase is a group. Repeat the hook 6 times. Let's hook. Thread the stitches directly into the first stitch marked. Hook a separate single crochet accordingly. Mark it well. Then hook an increase into the second stitch. That is, hook 2 single crochets. 1 single crochet and 1 increase. So that's a combination. A total of 6 hooks. Next hook a second time. 1 single crochet and 1 increase. It was hooked the second time. So what's next? We hooked all the remaining 4 times. After the third round, there are 18 single crochets. And you learn to look at this crochet diagram. How about this? You can see the diagram later. Hook a small part alone. The last stitch must be an increase. The third round is complete. Next we hook the fourth round. 2 single crochets and 1 increase is a group. Repeat the hook 6 times. Hook a single crochet in the first stitch. Mark it well. Then hook a single crochet into the second stitch. Here are 2 single crochets. An increase is hooked inside the third stitch. 2 single crochets and 1 increase. A total of 6 hooks. Then hook 2 separate single crochets for the second time. Then hook an increase. It was hooked the second time. So what's next? Let's hook all the next 4 times. After the fourth round, There are 20 for single crochets. So if you hook right, our number of stitches is 24. Everyone follow me to hook this round 4. Okay, we're done on the 4th round. And we're going to hook the 5th round. 1 increase and 3 single crochets is a group. Repeat the hook 6 times. Let's hook. Hook an increase in the first stitch. Mark the first stitch. Hook a single crochet in the first stitch again. This is an increase. Then hook 3 single crochets. And the 3 single crochets occupy 3 stitches. 1 increase and 3 single crochets. You need to hook this stitch round 6 times. Next, hook a second time. An increase is hooked inside the 5th stitch. It was done the second time. According to this method, hook all the next 4 times. Then we followed this method. After hooking this 5th round, next, look at the diagrams. Hook the round 6 to 8, and I typed the diagram up on the screen. So just follow the diagram to hook. Okay, take a look at our negatives. 6 single crochets, 1 increase. When the hook is done, it finally becomes 48 stitches. Our negative is done. Extend the yarn. What about the last round? We're going to use this suture needle to connect it. There is a long yarn for suturing later. Let's put this thread through the stitches. Let's connect. This is the first stitch. Skip it and thread the needle from the second stitch. And we found the last of the single crochets. Pick its back loop. Along with this little loop below, go through it together like this. So it's connected. Take a look at our negatives and you're done. Then by checking the edges of the negatives, we learned. Look at this very basic knitting diagram. We can completely see the diagram. Take this pillar of Hannot Tower. This part is hooked. Also starting from the top part. It is also the method of magic ring from 6 single crochets. It's just like the stitch addition rule of our negatives. So we're just looking at the diagrams. Just hook it independently. Then we put PP cotton in it and fill it up. So I'm going to put the diagram on the screen. Everybody follows the diagram. After we hook this column and this part, then put this PP cotton inside as well. And this part, sew it back together. What about our column parts? It eventually grew to 48 stitches. It's exactly the stitch of a stitch. Just sew it corresponding to the stitch of a stitch. Let's take a look. Just sew it up accordingly. As for the first stitches, you can sew 2 more stitches in this place. Fix it. What about the back part? We just sew it up accordingly. Everyone follow me. Let's sew these 2 parts together first. All right, take a look. And we've sewn these 2 pieces back together after the suture. So let's just take this one and put it on the side. Let's hook the part of this ring. The ring has a total of 6 hook edges. The methods are all similar, almost. As for the smaller ones, we just have less stitches. Then, the bigger one is a little more stitching. This is our biggest one. In a while, you need to connect it to this column. What about after you hooked all the rings? We can size it like this. Just put it on this column in round. So, what's next? And I'm going to show you how to do that. We've got the smallest one left. This ring hasn't been hooked yet. Let's look at this hook method. We hooked it with a red line. 30 stitches from the stitches. We're going to hook the stitches with a red yarn, and we do that by using chain stitch. Start with a loop like this. Crochet in. Let's hook 30 chain stitches first. Pull it over. It's very simple. Repeat this action. Second stitch, third stitch. 30 chain stitches according to this method. What about the biggest round? We did 48 stitches. What about the purple round and this gray round? All 48 stitches. Okay, let's take a look. So we've got these 30 chain stitches. Then we bend him like this. Crochet in the first stitch and connect it. This will form a ring. Just bring the line directly. This is a slip stitch. Then hook a chain stitch. As for the first round, we just hooked a single crochet in each stitch. The end of the line is hooked horizontally on it. Mark the first frame. Put a single crochet on the inside of each stitch. We can directly pick this single layer loop. Everybody, follow me. I'm going to hook this first round. One single crochet in each stitch. Just hook the original number of stitches. Okay, let's take a look. The 30 single crochets in our first round. So now we move on to the second round. One single crochet and one increase is a group. So we repeated the hook 15 times. So what if your starting stitch is singular? What about the last stitch? Just hook a single crochet directly. One single crochet and one increase. Just repeat the hook like this. That is to say, no matter how many stitches you take. In the second round, we all followed a single crochet and one increase. Just repeat the hook removal like this. Everybody follow me. Hook this second round. Okay, after the second round. And we're going to do rounds 3 through 10. That is, one single crochet in each stitch. Just hook 45x in every round. We've hooked to round 10. 3 to 10 rounds means one single crochet in each stitch. Just hook it like this. Next, let's hook round 11. The 11th round, one single crochet and one increase is a group. Repeated 15 times. A single crochet is hooked inside the first stitch. Mark it well. Then we hook a decrease. First pick up the front loop of the second single crochet, this single loop. Then adjust the front loop of the third stitch. Then the crochet hooks the thread and pulls it over. 2 loops together. This is a decrease, a single crochet and a decrease. Just repeat the hook like this. Then a decrease picks up a front loop of the stitches. Pick up another front loop and pull the thread over. 1 single crochet, and 1 decrease. Just follow this method. Just hook this round 11. That is to say, after this round is hooked, it will have the 30 stitches. The next 12th round is 1 single crochet in each stitch. Everyone, follow me to hook. Okay, we've already hooked this for round 12. After hooking, lengthen the thread and cut it directly. And then we do this finishing touch. Just threw it in like this. Find the first stitch and skip over. Thread the needle through the second stitch. Then on the last single crochet, pick the back loop off the stitch, along with this little loop below, such a poke through. So it's connected. What's next? We need to hook this part right. Fold it in half like this. Then thread the stitches up and down and connect it like this. Just pick the part of the stitch. Then we all know. So we started with 30 stitches. And then the last round 12 is also 30 stitches. So we just do this, stitch to stitch. Just connect it like this. Don't forget to fill it with PP cotton. Everybody, follow me. Do this part right. Okay. Look at our red round. That's it. Then we need to follow this same approach. Just hook all the other rings. This is red. This is yellow. And the green one. Blue. There is also a gray and a purple. This gray and purple are both 48 stitches. The sample I hooked is 36 stitches in yellow. The green one has 40 stitches. The blue one has 44 stitches. So how much do we need for this stitch? You can adjust up and down. Except for this, the number of stitches is different. And then the process is the same. Hook all these loops for it. And finally, the gray ring. Just sew it on this column. Let's take a brief look at the suturing process. Sewed with this thread tailed from our reservation. Just fix these 2 parts together. No difficulty. Just fix it together like this. Okay. What about after sewing? Let's put the rest of the rings like this. The last one is red. Okay, our educational toy Hannot Tower. That's it. See you in the next video.